right, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching Unbiased Magic Reviews, the most objective magic review channel here on YouTube. Today I'm going over my picks for the top 5 melting rubber band effects. Now, as you guys know, I have no disclosures. I don't accept free magic products from large magic companies. As you guys know, this top 5 list represents years of trial and error of different effects. So over the years, many effects have cycled through this list, and I've settled on those that are the most practical, visually crazy looking effects that really get good reactions. So this isn't me just pulling out a couple of effects to present to you guys and say, hey, these work. No, this is actually a magic set, meaning that the first effect is designed just to grab their attention. It's probably the most visually stunning effect out of the 5. And then this top 5 list culminates in my favorite effect, which is also just as visual, really, but looks absolutely impossible to the spectators. Now, if you're not into rubber band magic, I would urge you to reconsider, because rubber band magic is very visual. Visual is king. It's so easy to carry around a couple of bands with you, and then you're ready to go at the drop of a hat. You guys are going to see that the criteria that I set forth for this top 5 review is that you just need to have a couple of bands. So there's no extras, there's no pens or rings or anything else. You're just using your hands and the bands. You don't even need a bunch of rubber bands around your wrist, because there's a lot of rubber band magic that you need to have a bunch of bands around your wrist. So I've gotten rid of all of those. It's just a couple of bands and your hands. All of these are impromptu. There is no difficult, crazy setups. Like, any get ready is done on the offbeat in between effects. So the get ready takes 1 second, really, maybe 2 seconds, while the spectators are reacting to what they just saw. And as I mentioned to you guys, this is all stuff that's completely impromptu, so you'll be able to do it. And this is modular. So you can start out with doing the first, second effect, and then you can just stop there, or you can go through all of them based on the reactions that you're getting from your spectators. So let's start out with a couple of notable mentions. I always like to give you guys notable mentions because there's so many rubber band effects that really fit my criteria. I wanted to give you guys a couple that you may want to take a look at anyway. And some of these have cycled through this top 5 list for me, but the top 5 list that I use now is just the ones that are my favorites. But a couple of notable mentions for you. You may want to check out Calvin Liu's synthetic project. He had some nice stuff on there. I remember that I did mention that when I did my review of Brendan Rodriguez's Visualize project. If you haven't seen that, you may want to take a look at that too, because he has some nice rubber band effects on that Visualize project as well. There is an effect by Dan House called Stretching Time. I actually have a performance video on my channel of it. It's an excellent penetration effect. Rubber band melts through another in your hand. Actually, let me show you guys what it looks like.
I'm solo dancing on your body, crazy on my own, but all in. I can feel the eyes all staring, but I don't care about them saying I was born a misfit. Don't go with the cool kids, it's all overrated. No, I never missed it. I was born a misfit. Don't go with the...
So you guys can see what Stretching Time looks like, and it's very easy to perform. And then the last notable mention I'm going to give you guys is Cashins Wallace's Melting Point. Now, I've used this for years now, but the issue that I had with it was that the get ready is very knacky and finicky, and sometimes you'll screw it up when you're trying to do it. If you're performing for somebody that has patience, that that if you like have to reset it up, they don't really care, well, then that's fine. But the problem I have with it is that it's not 100% reliable in the heat of the moment, which is why it's not on this top 5 list. But I'm telling you guys that I've used it for years and it's an excellent effect. And contrary to what they say I saw that there was like this Penguin Magic video where they mentioned it on some top 10 list, and they were saying that there were arts and crafts involved or something. There's no arts and crafts involved. In case you're not familiar with it, let me just show you guys just a short clip of me performing it so you can see what it looks like.
I'm solo dancing on your body, crazy on my own but all in. I can feel the eyes all staring, but I don't care about them saying I was born a misfit, don't go with the cool kids, it's all overrated. No, I never.
Let's get into my list of top 5 melting rubber band effects. And we're going to be starting out with that opener, or number 5 on this list, which is the one that I told you guys was visually startling. And that is because this will grab their attention and they're going to be very interested once they see this. And I'm talking about Jim Bodine's effect, which is called the Ultimate Jumping Band. Now, you probably are familiar with some version of the jumping band effect. Now, when I first saw Jim Bodine's version, I was very impressed with it because it looked like his hand was just flat the whole time, and it looked like he just does this and the band just bounces on it. It just looks so visually impossible. The issue I had with his effect was it used these fuzzy women's hair ties or women's elastics, and I can't be bothered with carrying around something like that. And so for a while, I couldn't do his effect. And then I came up with my own minor handling change of his effect, so that way I could use just a regular rubber band, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys what my own minor handling variation looks like, and you can see why it's so visually startling. But I'm gonna tell the spectators, like I'm gonna say, look, you can see where's the rubber band. They're gonna say that, okay, it's on those 2 fingers. And I'm gonna say to them, okay, check this out. I'm gonna close my hand into a fist, okay? I've done nothing, right? I've done nothing. And I'm gonna say, yeah, where's the rubber band? They're gonna say the last 2 fingers. I say, here's what's crazy. If I just move my hand a little bit, do you see something? The band jumped. Is that crazy? Now, when you do that for them, they're going to swear that you went from here to here. That's it. That's what they're going to swear. They're going to be so vexed by this right in their face that they're going to be like, do it again, do it again. They're going to want to see it again. This is the reactions I get. Of course, I've done it again many times. I admit to it, right? You shouldn't, but I have, because it's just too much fun, right? And I would urge you that if you do repeat it, to use a second band as the fence around your fingers. So that way, it's even more impossible, although it's not, as you guys are probably aware, right? But if you're not familiar with Jim Bodine's effect, I would recommend that you check it out because I think it's really great. And you can see my minor handling variation really hasn't changed anything, but it does make it seem equally impossible because it looks like your hand, you just moved your hand slightly and the band moved on its own, really, is what it looks like. And the spectators will be they'll just be nonplussed by that they're going to want to see more. So now you've got their attention. Now you can do whatever you want. If you want, you can just stop there. You can show them something else. It's really up to you. That leads us now to number 4 on the list, right? So I used to follow this up all the time with this effect from Dan House that was called Rubber through hand or rubber through hand. And if you're not familiar with it, it would look something like this, where the rubber band, you would put it around your hand like this. And the reason I really liked this was because it's the same kind of plot of the rubber band going through your hand. And so you're able to say to the spectator, watch, check this out. See, it already went through one of my fingers. And it really gets good reactions because they're swearing that they're seeing that rubber band each time that you're like, watch this, boink. Look, it went right through my fingers. So it's so easy to perform, which is why I would recommend you to check it out. And it's very visual, as you can see. It's great. It's really a good effect. Now, nowadays, I don't perform it as much, and that's really because I substituted this effect for one that I learned from Instagram. So I don't know, a year or so ago, it's been a while now, I saw a video on Dr. Cyril Thomas's Instagram channel where he had this crazy one-hand band penetration effect where the band basically bounced from between two fingers to the other finger with just one hand. And I very quickly reverse engineered it, and then that's the effect that I use now. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like a close-up view of it. Let me show you what it looks like. This angle looks pretty good. You could show the back like this if you want to. Whenever you're ready, your finger's going to go inside like this, and it's going to penetrate from one finger to the other. You could see how visual that looked. So I don't know if the effect has ever been released. I really don't know, but it's a very simple effect, and I reverse engineered it myself. But that's why I'm giving you guys two options here for really number 4, because realistically, I don't know if that effect was even ever released by Dr. Cyril Thomas. Maybe one of you guys know if that is on one of his more recent projects. I don't have all of his recent projects. I do have some of them, like for instance, his newest project, I think it's called Squid Band. It's excellent. I would recommend it to you guys. It's a really nice project. That's also like a penetration type project effect, but it uses things like your fingers and pens and other stuff like that in your hand and stuff like that. It's really nice as well. Moving along to number 3 on my list of top 5 melting rubber band effects, we have an effect that I have been using for over 15 years. Like, think about how long that is, right? And I'm still using it, which is why it's on this list. And what I'm talking about is Nabil Murday's Link. All right, so this effect, Link, is a powerhouse. This is the linking band effect. That's really what this is. You're going to be showing the spectator the two bands like this. You're going to say, watch, check this out. If I rub one on the other, just like this, you notice it doesn't look like anything is happening. Not yet. It's not until I really rub them together well, and then notice, oh, wait, it looks like one went into the other. So now you are in the perfect position to do the next effect on my top 5 list, which, as you can imagine, is the Crazy Man's Handcuffs, or otherwise known as the Penetrating Bands by Arthur Sederington. So little history on that effect as well. The Penetrating Bands was published back in the 60s in the Abra magazine, and then it was updated and published as the Uncanny Penetrating Bands in Volume 7 of Tarbell. It was also published in Elastrix as the same thing as the Uncanny Penetrating Bands, but it is more commonly known nowadays as Crazy Man's Handcuffs from Michael Amar that coined that term. But the issue I always had with Crazy Man Handcuffs is it never made sense to put one band inside of the other just for them to melt through each other. If you could do real magic, well, then you could first link them together, which is why Link is number 3 on this list, right? Because in this position, you can say, no, yeah, look, it really does it. It looks like it really went inside, doesn't it? You know what? Maybe if I rub them together again, oh yeah, that was just an illusion. It really wasn't inside, right? That's crazy, right? That's going to blow away the spectator right there, right? And really, that for you may be the very last effect that you're going to do for them. But now you're in the perfect position to get ready for what I call the encore, or my number 1 pick for the best melting rubber band effect that exists. And I personally believe that there's no other effect that can follow this one, right? So as they're reacting, you're going to do the get ready for the effect, right? Which that's it. That's the get ready. And what I'm talking about is Marcus Eddy's raw linkage, right? Now, the reason why this effect for me is the number 1 effect, the encore, is because this is so insanely visual and impossible. When you say, hey, just check this out right here. I'm going to tap the band right against the other one. And you'll see it's just going to melt right through. Look, 1, 2, 3. And look at that. It really does look like, it looks like it melted right inside. They're going to be so just nonplussed when they see this. They're like, what? How is that possible, right? And then you're going to say, well, look, I'm going to try to pull it out. 1, 2, 3. And now I can just hand these to them, let them take them home. That's it, you're done. You really can't follow that up with anything. And the reason that I really like this set in this order is because raw linkage does take about a second for the get ready, right? As the person is reacting, right? As the person is reacting, that's all the time it takes to do this. And you're ready to go. What did that take me? Like a second? That's it. That's the get ready for the effect. So anyone who says that, Marcus Eddy's effect, oh, the setup is too difficult, right? No, it's not. It takes 1 second. It just takes 1 split second. And then you have this absolutely insane piece of visual magic that it really can't be beat by anything else. It's really hard to. It's really hard to beat this moment when you're like, it speaks for itself, really. It does. Which is why I recommend it to you guys. And like I said, it's like an encore piece. I would recommend you to learn it and pick it up. And I think that, I think it is sold as a single download, but it was on a project with Daniel Garcia, and I will put the name of it down here because I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if it was called something like Stairway or something. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but it was a project with Danny Garcia. And then we're talking about, 10 years ago at least. It was a long time ago that it was put out. But you could see why I've picked these 5 effects and why I reviewed them here for you guys today is because I use this stuff all the time. I perform it all the time. It's reliable. It gets strong reactions, crazy visual. What more do you need, right? Which is why I recommend it to you guys. And, my advice to you guys is that you should pay attention to those magic reviewers that are using what they're reviewing, that they can show it to you in their hands. Because why? Because it really proves to you that it works, that they're using it, right? It's not just another unboxing video. Anyway, if you guys think I've left something out here, or a rubber band effect that you think I should have put on this list, or something that would work really well, feel free to leave us a comment below. Make sure that it fits with the criteria that I set forth in the beginning of the video. And as always, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.